Greetings, survivors of the ice melt apocalypse, I guess. Um, want to talk about mods for Raft. So with Raft, you want to use mods. You want to download something called the Raft Mod Launcher, RML Launcher, and that's what you're always going to execute, right? So you always execute the launcher, and the launcher will start the mod loader. Right, this is the launcher. It's going to start a mod loader. And installing mods is pretty easy. Let's drink something here for a moment. Did I not refill this last time? Looks like it. Anyway, so you have the mod launcher, and you're gonna start Raft by pressing play here. Installing mods is easy. You go to the website. On the website, uh, it's going to be a mod section. This is also where you get the mod downloader, right? So download, launch, and execute that. Then comes here to mods, and you can search for it, or you can just browse mods. Once you find the mod you like, you just click here on install mod. It's going to ask you to authorize some things before it gets to this window, but then you just decide whether you're going to install it or not. And this is going to download the mod. It's not going to automatically put the mod inside your game. Now, when you start Raft, let's go back to main menu. And in fact, I was doing some tests and I turned off autosave. I'm going to turn it on again. When you start Raft, it's going to start with this window here, right? This is what I'm going to see when you start Raft. Some feature mods, I don't think these are very featured anymore because it's the same ones for the past 2 years, at the very least. Um, there is information about the version and updates and things like that when it was last time, and you can see the full log. That actually opens a web page. Now, and information about how to develop mods, the link to the website, for the Discord. They have their own Discord, not Raft Discord, like Raft Mods Discord. So they have their own Discord, Facebook page. We have settings here, which controls exactly what you're going to see when you start. There is like two key bindings, very important, F9 and F10. This is for multiplayers, but this tab is where you're going to see the mods. And most of them it's going to start like this. It's going to be all selected, but they're all going to start not loaded. And then you can load selected mods, and like you can select manually or unselect manually, whatever. You can unload them, or you can come here. This will load the mod, or if the mod is loaded, it will unload them. A few mods are called permanent mods. You cannot unload that mod. And the permanent mods, usually, if you're playing a game with a permanent mod and you want to install that mod and you load that game, it's quite possible you're going to break that save. And on information, you have the option to load the mod at startup. So if there is a mod, I'm always going to use this mod, I don't care. You can come here and click on always load at startup, which I have here. Uh, each one of these that are with the blue thing, they were loaded at startup. Yeah. So once you load the mods, and you can load the mods during the game if it doesn't, if that particular mod doesn't care, you can load the mod while you're playing the game. That's not a problem. So I'm gonna load here the game I was playing while I drift towards Tangaroa. And I'm gonna show my favorite mods here. And almost all of them are quality of life mods. Now there are a bunch of mods that add more items, adds like um, so much stuff. Add stuff for electricity, add stuff for new items, adds new storage containers, add nets that can catch fish, add nets that has a filter, so you can say, oh, I only want to get wood. um, there's all sorts of mods, but most of my mods are just quality of life, which means the game I'm playing is basically the same game as vanilla, just a little more comfortable from my perspective. So let's get this egg here. I'm gonna start with the first mod I have. Well, not the first, but I have an egg on my inventory, so I'm gonna press a key and the egg is gone. Where is it? Not here. Oh, there it is. It went to the storage chest. So one of the mods is called, and I'm gonna have to find it here on the list. It's getting longer and longer. um, I'm sorry, this is a recent mod for me, so I don't remember. Easy Deposit. So this is the Easy Deposit mod, and what it does is just that. Adds an easy way to deposit items from inventory to nearby chests. All right, so let's go back here to the top, and we're gonna look at things from top to bottom because it's easier for me to know where I am. Now, better steering wheel. Steering wheel return to default rotation if it's not locked. There's other options as well, right? So if I do a rotation here, you see there's like button to press to return to rotation, or you can lock rotation. And if you don't do anything, the wheel will slowly return to the center if it's not locked. So honestly, it works much better for me. I particularly like the auto, like you click, left click to get it back to normal. Oh, by the way, this is F9, one of the two keys. So F9 brings this stuff here. Attack identifier. So allows you to see where the shark can attack your raft. Now I find this mod very interesting, and let me get a little bit of wooden plastic. Well, there's plenty of wooden plastic here, right? Even some that are fleeing. All right, so let's make a foundation. So I'm gonna press the other key bind, this F10. Um, hmm. Interesting. So find targets. This is a console for mods, and you can. There's a bunch of commands. You can type help to get the list of commands, but this is the mod for that thing. So find targets. It's gonna highlight the blocks that can be attacked by the shark, and it's gonna give the percentage of chance for that to happen. So this block can be attacked by the shark and nothing else, because all other blocks are either protected or they rely on some geometry bizarre thing where if you have a block like sticking out, it protects blocks nearby. So that's an interesting mod, particularly because you can learn to do things like this. So you can see that none of these blocks are protected, but with this guy here and this guy here, I effectively protect every one of them. And I mean, the others surrounding, like, it's complicated. So this mod makes it much easier to save some iron on those repairs. Now there is Tangaroa. Let's try another mod here. Let's do something here. Better eyes. I'm gonna load this mod, and then what was the command? Field number chess. Improve eyes. So when you run this command, um, it increases the render distance of every object that is on loaded at the moment. So basically, you're gonna see much better everything, and it's good for screenshots. The It's not something that is on all the time, and that's one reason it's not even loaded. Well, wasn't even loaded. I'm gonna in fact unload it right now. You just run the command. It improves the render of everything around, and you take a screenshot with a better quality of the background, and that's that. Now, let me continue here on the list of mods. Auto recipe. Okay, this is one of my two favorite mods. Say I want to make some shark dinner, because why not, right? So let's get some shark. Let's get some mushrooms and algae. I have to get more algae, right? Because that's what's used here for the shark dinner, right? Two sharks, one mushroom, one silver algae, and I have to place it here on these things, and then blah blah blah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click here, and there you go, it's there. And I even click again and it starts cooking. And if I mouse over other recipes here, you can see this recipe, for example, there are two ingredients that have a red marking and one that is normal. So the normal one, you have it, the other ones you're missing. So if I were to get mangoes, for example, then the mango is no longer missing there. By the way, let's make the shark dinner here as well. And then let's drop stuff back on this. Let me anchor this ship right here. Oh, these here are full 10 items, so the things get passed. That's why the filter one is interesting. I just think that filtering the net it's a little bit more than just quality of life. It's a quality of life, but I think it goes a little bit beyond that. Now, battery level indicator. Um, this is going to show the remaining power of the battery, but when looking at a battery here, so I'm looking here, battery 88%, 68, 68, 68. I don't know what the other number is. Yeah, I don't know what the other number is, but anyway, battery indicator. So much easier to know if it's um, almost off or not. This I'm gonna skip because I cannot even demonstrate. It's not quality of life. This is a sort of auto farmer. Like you get some fairies that will do the farming for you. Gonna skip that. Better eyes we talked about. Better controls. This is, I'm not sure if it's working very well on the current version, um, but it allows you to do stuff like um, open and close the sail or turn the sail with key bindings remotely or with commands, or drop the anchor, raise the anchor, or do the stuff that the new uh, engine control was made for. So the engine control replaces the most important, in my perspective, part of it, which is the engine part. Though the anchor part, that's important as well, but I can deal with that. So I'm not using it right now because I'm not sure if it was gonna work right with the new version of Raft. Craft from storage is another one I love. So, oh, water! I forgot again that I have forgotten to fill the thing. I don't have anything I really want to craft right now. Maybe a headlight. So headlight's gonna take some plastic, right? I just changed where I put the plastic, so yeah. So the headlight requires a battery. I'm just gonna craft here. I'm gonna go here to the battery, copper, plastic, and scrap. Now I have plastic on me, but everything else is on this chest here. So I'm gonna click here, and it's gonna craft from the storage. It's gonna take the items from the storage. If I close the chest and look at it, I cannot craft that. So I'm here, headlight, missing stuff. Open the chest, craft. There we go. I was going to need that anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna keep both of them. Clear my inventory again. I'm not gonna use the shovel right now. Or the treasure thing. Okay, next mod. Easy deposit, we talked about. Extra settings API. So this mod doesn't do anything for itself, but other mods support it. And what it does is it's going to create a tab here on settings, which other mods can use to place configuration. So I have here the easy deposit allows you to choose what the key binding is. Deposit key should have cancelled. All right, whatever. So easy deposit, scattered remains, building utilities, statistic mods, true no clip. Some examples of mods that are using this. Some of the unloaded mods might also be using it, and of course, a bunch of mods that I don't have installed or downloaded. So extra settings API just makes things easier to use for some other mods. Fish seated, well, that one is easy to demonstrate, except I have to first demonstrate craft from storage. Or maybe not. Center is here. There. So let me sit down here, get my fishing pole, and fish. So honestly, Does it make any difference whether you're sitting down or not? I guess not. And of course, there is no animation for the item you're holding where you're sitting down. It just lets you use that. And in fact, you can use other things. Let's go back to first person. Like I could have a bow and arrow. So I could be, for example, sitting next to the bird, just waiting for to the bird's nest, just waiting for the bird to show up and shoot it, right? So it doesn't do much, right? But I don't know. Sometimes it's the little things that matter. Now, what else do I have here? Fish seated, foundation count. Uh, Never mind that mod. There is a better mod for that now. But this is one I created, so I keep it loaded so I know if it breaks or not. Ignore build collision. I will probably remove this mod as well because there is another mod that also does that besides a lot of other things. But let's get a pipe here. And I might need a second one or even a third. These are resources, pipe, craft. There. So one thing that kind of irritated me when I started playing with, there was a better way of doing this. With pipes, is that they cannot cross walls, right? They cannot cross walls. So let's say I want to make a wall here. Cannot make a wall there because there's a pipe in the way. So what this mod does is you press Alt and it allows you to build stuff on top of each other. It doesn't matter if it's pipes or whatever, chests, anything. Anything, if you press Alt and it then becomes allowed. Here, see? It's colliding with this, press Alt, and it allows me to place it. Right. Now, I said there is another mod that does that. We'll get to it. More trophies. That's a simple thing, actually. If I craft the trophy board, I'm not sure which size I'm going to require, so I'm going to craft two. And let's get, so these are trophies you can attach to this stuff, right? What about the hat, for example, or an axe or a weapon? So say I place these, I don't have a lot of walls in this raft to do this. Get this thing here, let's go on the ground then. No? Oh, I have this wall here. Okay, I'll test that later. There, mayo hat. So more trophies basically allows you to place more stuff on these trophy boards, including equipment, including hats. That's that, just decoration. And not even new items, just combining them. Player compass is this thing up here, which by the way is broken, kind of. Uh, According to this compass, the sun rises to the north and settles on the south. And that's kind of not how it works. So it's kind of broken, but well, you live to learn, or you learn to live with it. Now, this player compass is also very interesting when you're playing with other people because it's actually going to show icons for other players in that compass. Raft blueprint, it's not loaded. Basically, it allows you to save your raft as a file, which you can share, unload rafts from that file, and play that. So you can play with raft of other people. Um, Let me actually exit the game. Yes. No. I mean, it's auto saving now, but 10 minutes of nothing. That's fine. So this, it's not creative, but it's this world has a raft that I downloaded from the internet and using, and then use that mod to load that raft. And of course, some person used that mod to save it. So this is it's a pretty big raft. Pretty big raft. So I have the animal section there, farming, does container storage there, and honestly that area is sort of empty. This whole building here is full of fuel tanks. We have engines here. We have engines here. This building here has more engines. This is the command deck here. There are more engines here. That's living area there. This is nets. And down here you have, yeah, I think there was some sort of plan for this that never got completed. And this is the water retrieval system, water storage, water retrieval. So I downloaded this from the internet. It's pretty simple. Get here the Raft blueprint load mod. So it adds commands, and this is weird formatting here. It happens sometimes. Don't know when it happens, why it happens. So you have here this load raft, which is gonna load the raft stored under that name. There's load raft 2, which is gonna load that raft, but is not gonna replace your current raft because in this world here, my 2x2 raft is gone. It was just replaced, but I could like load multiple rafts without actually replacing the one your main raft. I guess they all become part of your raft in some way. And of course, save raft, so you can save the raft and share it with others. So that's that mod. Raft blueprint, unload that. Receiver motion display. That one is really nice and good. I don't know if the game is still. I don't know if the last saver was already anchored. I probably was. So let's load this game instead. No load. So um, what was the mod called again? Damn it. was not compass. Receiver motion display. Okay. So it's gonna come here. Oh, please don't tell me to turn off the receiver here. I removed the receiver from this boat. I removed the receiver because it's. I'm gonna place a new one. I'm gonna place on a second, different place, and I had not done that yet. And this game got saved while I was away from the raft because of the autosave where I was taking screenshots. So my raft is there. Right. Let's get on board. There's the anchor. I'm sure this thing here. So it does show two things to begin with. There is a speed here, and this line is the direction you're going. So if I was to come here at top and open this, like this is more or less 180 degrees against the course. So now I have basically a dot there. It's almost no line. Speed 0.34. So we are now crawling along. But if I will go the other way around, $147, and then I can actually activate the engines. Go away, bird. Still the same speed, huh? Curious. Anyway, this is what this mod provides. And it's honestly, it's really good because if your raft is sideways, you're not going directly in the direction of the wind. It helps you tell that and figure out if you're actually going to meet whatever place you're going to or not. So that's not what I wanted to do, but whatever. And I'm gonna go back to my game. For the last few mods. And this is not a mod, this is comes with the mod loader. Yeah, we have already arrived here. Okay. Scattered remains. Makes the player drop their items on respawn. So if I die, the items will drop like this. So there's gonna be a bunch of this stuff where you died with everything you're carrying. And this mod actually have some interesting settings. Yeah, so you can actually set a chance. So there is like that suspense of whether you actually got the item or not. Um, there is this always drop special items. I don't know which items are considered special, but I mean, guessing even if you have a drop chance low or 0%, some items will always be preserved. I would say like things like Captain Rat, the Captain's hat, because it's pretty unique, but not unique, but approaching that. But anyway, I loaded that because there was something happened at work and I thought the game was paused. It wasn't. So I died of thirst. And like hell, I was going to just lose everything because the game wasn't paused. Building utility. So this is what replaces ignore build collision. It doesn't really replace it, but it kind of does. So with building collision, let's bring the menu here. It allows you to do a few things. One of them is to ignore collision, right? Um, that other mod, if you press out, it would, while you're pressing out, ignore collision. But this one, it just have a system where the collision is the accept. So shift up, shift down to enable or disable uh, build collision thing, right? Uh, so ignore build collision here, like shift up, shift down. Oh, damn it. What do you mean there's no collision here? Um, yeah, this thing doesn't collide a lot, so I might not be able to find a place here. Shift up. So now it's ignoring building collision, but the anchor works in very bizarre ways. Well, when it's ignoring building collision, it doesn't work very well. The other thing it does is ignore permissions, which is the odd thing. So this, oh, okay. Oh, why is it accepting there? Yeah. So building collision is disabled, and because of that, it's actually letting me place this thing here. But you cannot place it like if you shift down. So build collision not allowed. Now build collision is allowed, so it's allowing me to show, but it cannot go here because it's above seafloor level, and that's permission. And I don't know which blocks have permissions, but this is one of them. It cannot go above foundation, only foundations and nets. So I press out, I ignore the permissions, and now I can place this right here, right? Perfect. The last thing it has, got this menu here. Well, that's two things. First, ignore and override raycast. Now, this is not recommended for stuff you make with the hammer. This is recommended for items. And it's just going to allow you to make stuff on places that, or attach stuff to places where they do not usually attach. So let's craft a storage, for example, right? So it's locking, well, not locking, but it's going into the floor, right? It ignores things that are not floors. This is a pillar, so it does go here like if it's a wall, right? But items, it doesn't care about. So I cannot place it on top of each other like here, for example, except if I override the overcast, and then I can. And then I can go on top of all sorts of blocks, like on top of a llama, and then I can press Alt, maybe force accept as well. No. Anyway, so that's an option. And then there is something about rotations that are unusual. So let's say I want it sideways, for example, like this. I'm gonna disable that. So you can get different rotations. So this is right, left goes the other direction, and then this goes in this direction, with this direction. And of course, you can do that with other kinds of um, I can place a wall sideways, for example. Hold left. There, it appeared again. So that's the that's the building utilities mod. So it replaces the ignore collision, build collision mod, though I pretty much like it. Um, Now, statistic mods, there is a bunch of stuff on the screen that is statistic mods. For example, here time, weather, foundation count, and it tells you how many engines that means. Next story location. Um, it does have a bunch of settings. This is one of the biggest settings thing here. So clock, and the clock has like multiple modes. You can disable almost every setting here, almost every thing in it. You can disable the display. So weather, shark respawn timer. So it's when the shark dies, it's gonna when the shark dies and you harvest the shark, it's gonna show you how many minutes until the shark is returns, or minutes and seconds. Full health bars. I actually hid the health bars for these animals that you can do with console. Show health, llama, for example. So you have the health bar there. So it shows the health bars of every creature. Not particularly interested in these animals, so I canceled that for them. Um, what else was on that list? Now settings, the story objective, the item durability. So I can mouse over and see this 8 of 4. This is 491 of 800. For this, it's more difficult to know what it means exactly. Maybe it's seconds it lasts. But for things that are used, it's the number of uses, right? So this 3 of 5, this is 0, 10 of 30. So item durability. Um, round stats number. It usually, when it shows these numbers, it usually shows them with the um, with one decimal case. That's just a setting to avoid showing decimal cases. I don't like decimal case because it keeps changing all the time, and I find that unnerving. Equipment display. I don't recall what equipment display is. Hmm. Raft weight is the foundation count. Compass. I don't like this compass. Is that black thing that's very ugly. I prefer the compass on the other mod. It could replace that compass mod, and it doesn't call sunrise north, but I don't like it. These item IDs, this is really for people writing mods so they can find out what's the idea of an item. Raft center, that green dot here, this is the center of my raft, and that's important because the debris will always be centered on this dot here. So if I had my initial raft here and built all the way out to the side, I wouldn't get anything. And in fact, you see there is a lot of stuff here. And I must have churned at some point because I actually have stuff here. But these nets, they're usually empty just because they are too far away from the raft center. Raft center also changes, well, not changes, indicates how the raft rotates, but that's a different story. So raft center. I also like the raft center because it shows from anywhere. So if I'm inside Tangaroa and I want to know where my raft is, I can look around and I'm going to see that green dot from anywhere. That is very useful. I use that on Balboa, which is a very confusing island, but with the raft center, so I had like a fixed reference point, it became much easier. And then some health bar adjustments. So that's the mods. I like the time indicator with the hour because morning is 4 a.m., for example. So I know exactly when morning is going to be. And the foundation count is also pretty cool. Health bars are nice. I don't particularly like these things here. These I really don't. An equipment indicator. Oh, I think I know what the equipment indicator is. I think it's like the equipment I have equipped like this. So it's showing on the side, so I know what I am equipped with. And if something gets destroyed, it will disappear from there, so it's easy to check. And also how much durability is left. So I'm pretty sure that's equipment indicator. Equipment display. Yeah, see, it disappeared. but I find it pretty useful. So that's statistic mod, no true clip, or true no clip, no true clip, true no clip. That's just fly mode. No, it's actually clipping, but there is a another no clip too. What, buddy? What? All right, there. So the ground is solid again. So true no clip, very useful for taking screenshots. Turn your raft. This is interesting. Um, it provides the pedal the ability to change the direction. So if your raft early game changes direction because you bumped into a rock, you can use the pedal to adjust the direction again. So honestly, I think it's silly that you cannot use the pedal for that. So I installed this mod uh, almost uh, out of spite because I think it should work. So you start using the pedal and then you press the arrow keys and the arrow keys will rotate the raft so you can adjust the front to go in the direction of the wind with a pedal. And you do not need to wait until you get to Vasagoten to get a steering wheel. This is for modders. Sort inventory, last but not least, right? Sort inventory, that. And in fact, sort inventory not only sorts inventory, it also um, reduces the number of stacks. I just noticed that my patch that makes this stack reduction work correctly isn't there, but well, what can you do? What can you do? And that's the last one of them. So there you are. These are my mods, the ones I use for on most of my games. It's basically quality of life stuff, just to make things easier. Um, just some mods like the easy store to send stuff to nearby chests. Um, Auto recipe to just click on the recipe and have the items go from your inventory to the cooking pot to cooking station. Sort inventory is also extremely useful. Um, I barely talked about it, but it's just the ability to compact stacks because sometimes your inventory is a mess. You don't even notice that there are multiple stacks that could be joined. It's great. Like inventory is full, you press the sort key, and suddenly there is space on your inventory. Um, yeah, alter S and the craft from storage. These four are my top mods, no question about it. And then some other stuff like attack identifier. It's pretty cool. it goes on and on. Like uh, some stuff is silly, like more trophies. This is basically for this current game. I'm using it. Um, and scatter remains. I usually don't use it either. But these four are great. And oh, I hope this introduction to Raft mods is helpful to you. And I hope you enjoyed this. And thank you for watching.